Hi, good afternoon. Kathy Knowles here from Soulful Business Connection, and I'm excited to join you again. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about stereotypes. We have so many of them, things that we initially think of and go to a complete judgment on. To give you an example of that, if you needed to go shop for a new vehicle, how excited would you really be to go into one dealership or two dealerships or three dealerships and spend a few hours, a few days in a car dealership? What about when we go to the airport? It's dreaded, right? We know we're going to the airport. We may be standing in long lines to check in. We know we're going to be standing in long lines for TSA. We can only help the people that work with the airline are kind to us. It happens all the time. But what's really powerful with stereotypes is when we can break them. A perfect example of that is Virgin. Let's face it, Virgin is not your typical airline. A perfect example of someone who has broken a stereotype is Disney World. It's not your typical amusement park. People are willing to pay more in order to go into Disney World, and they have broken stereotypes over and over again. At that fact, they have teams of people who do nothing but look at stereotypes. What is the stereotype of Disney World? It's expensive. There's no place for adults to go. It's hot. So the lines are long. So Disney has gotten some of their best ideas by sitting back and looking at their stereotypes. They were the first ones to create the fan water spritzers. They were the first ones to come up with Speed Pass. They built Epcot to give adults something to do in Disney World. So they have broken stereotypes over and over again. And that's why people are willing to pay more to be there. So I ask you to think of stereotypes a little bit further as well. Everything has a stereotype tied to it. Of course, I mentioned the aviation industry and the car industry, but there's banking. I mean, there's certain things that we think of when we think of the banking industry or insurance. What about different businesses? We certainly think of one thing when we think of Virgin, or we think of something great when we think of Google. But what do we think of when we think of another organization? The Ritz, Holiday Inn, Applebee's. These are all different things that immediately we come with our stereotypes. It's our experiences and the experiences of other people that have helped us create these. Well, I want to take that a step further. We have stereotypes in the titles of our occupations. For instance, for those of you who really know me, you know that I was an HR director for many years. Well, there was a stereotype behind that, right? Hatchet woman. Anytime anyone that would be called to my office, they'd say, "Oh no, man, am I going to get fired?" That's not my personality. That's not who I am. Did I have to fire people? Yes, absolutely. But it was part of the job, and it was a part of the stereotype of that job. I ask that you really look at the stereotype of what it is that you do. What is the stereotype of a consultant? Well, a lot of times that stereotype is they come in, they give you a whole bunch of paper, they turn around and walk away and you never see them again. What is the stereotype of a coach? They ask a lot of questions, they really don't give me answers. Many times when I hang up, I may feel more overwhelmed with them than I did before. What I'm challenging you to do today is to really look at yourself. What is the stereotype of you? I know for me, one of my stereotypes and something I always need to be mindful of is I let my boundaries fall. People know if they push me enough or if they say the right thing to me, I'll allow myself to drop my boundaries. So, what is your stereotype? When someone thinks of you, what is the first thing they think of? Allow whatever that is to be amazing and great. Allow it to be a Ritz. Allow it to be a Disney World. And the way you do that is you show up to be of service. You ask yourself, what is it that my clients want from me? I don't want to be this typical stereotype. So what is it that they want from me? Show up with passion. Get real about these stereotypes. Make a difference in people's lives. Start looking at it. Ask a committee. Ask some of your clients, what are some of the things about me? What are some stereotypes about me? You're really going to learn a lot, and it'll be worth your time. See you tomorrow. Bye.